If you love talking about cats, but your friends and family are kind of over it, this is the podcast for you. Join your hosts, Danielle Stray Woolley and Elizabeth Calico Gearhart on the Jersey PodCats, where everyday cat lovers share funny stories, challenging situations, and ask their questions about cats. All right, let's get right into this episode.
Hi, everybody. I'm Danielle Woolley.
And I'm Elizabeth Gearhart, and we are the Jersey
PodCats.
Hey, so today is a Max update day. I just took him to the vet yesterday. Yes. And the last time I took him to the vet, we switched his anti-itch medicine to something that's new, that is only totally approved for dogs, but works for cats. And we decided so we quit the cyclosporine. I can't remember the name of the new medicine, but we also weaned him off the steroid, which I was so happy about because
I know last time you were saying that you're probably about to say it before I interrupted you, that his cholesterol was up and he was getting all chonky.
Yeah, and so he's off the steroid, which is awesome, but he had a bad ear infection again. So we put medicine in his ears for the whole month and had him on an antibiotic for the whole month. Took him back yesterday,
and
that ear infection is gone, but now he has a yeast infection in his ears.
Oh.
And it's always his right ear is where everything starts. And it always has. When he was a kitten and this first started, it started in his right ear. And thank you, Mercutio.
Hi, Mercutio. Cushy.
And so, yes, we have a cat in front of the screen.
Oh, yeah. Those that are listening and not looking on YouTube.
Yeah. So, now I am doing 1.5 pills of the anti-itch medicine and ear drops twice a day. And then also I'm going to try a limited diet. So this drove me nuts, Danielle. Okay. You know how I am very analytical, and I think when you say something that you mean what you say, etc. So he's supposed to be on this limited protein diet if we're going to do the food allergy testing. So we decided to try him on pork because he hadn't tried that before. So I'm looking at these limited pork diets.
And it's like 900 things still?
900 things, including salmon oil.
Listen, we're from New Jersey. You could talk with your hands as much as you need.
Yeah.
Stuff's flying on the screen.
Yeah, including salmon oil and fish oils, which he's not supposed to have. So I asked the vet, I said, this is crazy. How could, why do they do that? And he said, well, a little bit of the fish oil is okay as long as it's a fat and it's not the major protein. So you can go ahead and use those. So the problem I'm having, they have wet foods. And I tried them on a couple of the wet foods and they liked them because they hadn't tasted it before. Like, ooh, this is something new.
Until you go and buy a case.
Right. Which I had to do anyway because it's specialty food. And then but the dry food is really hard to find. And they have freeze-dried food, which my cats hate freeze-dried food.
Is it really stinky?
No, it's not. The texture is disgusting.
Texture, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why when I hear freeze-dried, I just think of I don't know, spaceship food.
Yes. Did you ever go? Oh, I see a cat behind you.
So that's Stimpy.
Oh my!
That's the feral cat that I TNR'd that tried to kill me, that then showed back up at my house. Super adorable. And my husband stuck a laser out the back door and he was doing flips around, and him and my other stray cat were screaming at each other. Opened the door. I'm like, what are you yelling at? And he just came in the house and I said, okay, you're an indoor cat now, and closed the door. But more on him in a little bit. But I love how he's just posing for everybody.
He is. He's beautiful. He's got really interesting markings.
He's got very cool markings, and he has no tail. He's a Manx cat, M-A-N-X.
Yeah. Yeah. So where was I? So anyway.
Freeze-dried food.
Oh, yeah.
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
But if I can get food with fish oils, I may be able to get pork that I can give them because they like the really hard crunch. My cats do. And I'm feeling like, at least at first, if I give Max this food, I have to give it to all of them because he's gotten better, but if the other cats get food that he doesn't get, it really upsets him.
Well, not only that, it's going to be difficult to keep it separate. So I had something similar. So I've talked several times about Derek's butt breath. And then finally switched and found the food that it worked. But then it became difficult trying to manage who gets what food, because the food that I got that worked really well, the pieces are ginormous, which is good because it cleans their teeth, and that's why his breath doesn't smell as bad. But then I still had an extra giant bag from Costco for when I was feeding the outdoor cats, but the one cat that's left outside doesn't come as often. And so it's like, I'll just switch everybody back, whatever. And now I forgot how bad his breath smells. So I can't wait for this food to run out so I can go back to the original food. But
That's
otherwise, he
funny.
runs around. I can't have two separate foods because he'll want to go around and eat everybody's food.
Oh, Max is terrible that way. And then they don't eat half their food anyway. Oh my God, these cats stick their nose up. So I got to the point really where I was taking one of those really small cans of Fancy Feast and dividing that up between all three cats, and they would still leave it behind. It's like
Hmm.
if you ever want to learn how to diet, like just eat like a cat, you know, but they never clean their plate. And yeah, so I'm mixing the two foods now, and then we'll go to the straight. But the one food is called Identity, and
Hmm.
it's really pure. Like there's hardly any, it's a wet food.
Okay.
And they really liked it, but there's hardly anything in it except for like pork and water and a couple other things. So, yeah, so we're going to try that while we do this. But I just upped the medicine this morning and he does seem better already. And then I have some cream to put. He has a little tiny patch where he's been itching under his chin, but way better. I mean, you know what he was like where he scratched all his fur.
Yeah.
But this vet had never seen him like this because by the time I got him to this vet, he was like a sphinx, like all the fur was gone all over his head and neck. So now this vet is kind of seeing how it started so he can really analyze him. So I have to take him back in a few weeks and then back again in June. But this vet is kind of hard to get to because the GPS doesn't work down where he's in Raritan. And
Okay.
it doesn't, for some reason, it's 206. It's a spaghetti junction kind of thing with all these turnabouts and everything or roundabouts. And it doesn't work. So I have to like
And if
watch
you're
my
from New
phone.
Jersey, we call them U-turns
Yeah.
or jug
Yeah.
handles.
Well, no, it's
For
not
those who
just
aren't in New Jersey, because it's not in a lot of states.
the jug handles, it's the jug handles too, but it's
Hmm.
those stupid roundabouts like they have in England where there's a circle and you have to
Hmm.
go round the circle and get off at you call those jug handles. I'm
Well,
not,
so those we used to call circles,
yeah,
but normal people everywhere else calls them roundabouts. But I
yeah.
thought you were talking about jug handles, U-turns, because not a lot of people know what that means. Like
Oh,
in
I
New
have to,
Jersey, it's impossible to turn left nearly everywhere. You have to take a special little loop. So if you miss something and you're driving, so anybody who's watching can see my animation, you have to pass the left that you missed. So let's say you missed it, you have to then go back, take that U-turn or jug handle, then do it again, and then get to where you're going.
right. So you have to get off on the right and do a U-turn to get
Yeah.
off on the left. But then the other thing is I'm going down 287 and to get to 206 to get to Somerville, which is down by there, you have to get off on the left-hand side. So
Yeah.
it's really a confusing drive. I didn't
That's
grow
why we
up
drink a
here.
lot of coffee down here. We drive pretty quick. We're like zoom zoom.
Yeah, so Max does seem better today. I mean, I'm really excited to see how he'll look in a couple weeks after we've been doing this. I'm supposed to email the vet and let him know. And then I have some cream to put on him, his ears and chin too. So, but he's happy, Max. I was snuggling him well, he was snuggling me before I came up here. So
Mhm.
that's my Max update.
Oh, I'm glad because I know that this was the doctor you weren't sure how it was going to go when you get there. Now, what about Zyrtec? Is he taking that at all
He's
anymore or no?
No, he's completely off that. So this medicine that he has now replaces Zyrtec, and it also it I don't know how to say this, but it interrupts the cycle sooner in like the metabolic cycle for him so that Zyrtec works down closer to where the symptoms are. This works way up to where they really start. But I
Oh,
think that the Zyrtec was in addition to the cyclosporine before, and I think he needed something really strong like that. But it was hard because he was a kitten, and now that he's 2 years old, it's so much easier because he's a adult cat. So you don't have to worry so much about screwing up his metabolism and stuff.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So just to add a little bit more about Stimpy, I was trying to get him to come back. I don't know where he ran off to now. But he is hilarious. He talks to you, he walks around, but he's definitely afraid of Dr. Stray. So Dr.
Uh,
Stray was the cat that I shared on the recent episode about how he's been an outdoor cat that I've been trying to get in forever. Showed up with a bite wound, brought him to my vet, so he had no choice, but I had to actually quarantine him in my guest room for 45 days. Board of Health was
mm,
involved, made sure he was healthy, which is good because he was an outdoor cat. His rabies was lapsed just because
right.
it's hard to keep up with outdoor cats, but you're supposed to. But I had let it lapse, so I was like, fine, my bad. I had all the paperwork for when I had it originally done, and then he just never tried to go back outside again, which was great. But now I thought that Stimpy was going to be an outdoor cat because he was lunging and hissing and spitting and smashing his face and was acting feral. But then when he showed up with a bite wound too in his head
Some,
and a part of his ear. So his left ear was tipped because I thought he was feral, so I released him. But then he showed back up again, was being friendly. My husband was putting the laser light in the backyard, and he was like flying off the white fence behind in our backyard. And then, like I said, he just stayed in after I closed the door on him when he snuck in. But I don't know where the bite wounds came from.
I was
So
gonna say, can you tell what kind of animal is biting them?
no, so he had a piece of his ear was missing. So in addition to his left ear
Mm,
already being tipped, his right ear had a piece missing off of it. So it's like a
mm,
spike now. And he had like a little hole, like it looked like a tooth, like it looked like something just went chomp and like just missed him. So I don't know. I don't know if it was him and Dr. Stray that happened to get in a scuffle because of the timing, but I really think I would have noticed if he had shown up for food and had a bite on him already at the same time I had
yeah,
pulled in Dr. Stray. So there's only one other cat that's around. They scream at each other, but I've never seen him be nasty, the other cat. Or it could have been a raccoon, it could have been a squirrel, like
right.
who knows? We don't know. So I'm
Do you
just
have
glad he's
foxes?
inside now.
Yeah, me too. Do you have foxes down there?
We do see them from time to time, but they never bother anybody because we
Yeah.
have the water not far from us, but it's the bay,
Mm,
like beach. And then there's woods too, so there's trails behind my house. So
mm.
they're kind of around, but they've never really bothered anybody before that I've
Yeah,
seen.
I experienced that in my yard too. The foxes kind of stay up in the back of the yard. We
Mhm.
very rarely see them, but the raccoons, they'll come right on the porch. Like they,
So I'm glad that I only have one more outdoor cat. We don't even keep Bulls out all the time anymore. It's just when we see him, we'll give him
no.
food and we bring him back in, except for the last few days because it's been so cold. I'm sensing my husband turning around looking at me like I'm a liar because there is bulls on my back porch right now just because I haven't brought them in. But trying to keep them in because we did have one regular friendly raccoon too that would come and he would sit and like plop like a cartoon with the bowl right in front of him and he would just sit and eat the little dry food one at a time like he
Oh,
was eating popcorn.
oh, that's
But
cute.
again, you can't let wild animals rely on that.
No.
So while it's a little bit crazy right now because Stimpy is terrified of Dr. Stray, like will like burrow into you when he sees him.
Mm,
So I think there's something going on there, but we'll work on it. But couple of things I did. I think I mentioned last time too that I switched litters because I'm trying to get rid of the dust in my house. Even though I had
mm,
99.99% dust-free litter, it's just getting
right.
worse and worse. Like go like this, and it's just like next to where the litter box was, and that's with it having a cover and having a filter and having an air purifier. And I do everything because I'm allergic to all of it, right?
Right.
Um, so my friend's been using walnut litter. And
Hmm.
whenever I go to her house, I don't notice anything. The cats seem not to mind. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try that. And I tried it. They used it. But this
Yeah.
is before we fully had let Stimpy have full reign into the house and
Right.
moved litter boxes around. So I did everything you're not supposed to, right? Cats don't like change. We now thrown two more cats into the mix at my house. So we're back up to five. I switched the type of litter. I moved the litter box. There's people already
Danielle.
cringing, like, Danielle, what are you doing?
Ah!
Move the litter box. And I hadn't even thought about because Dr. Stray had kind of owned the guest room for 45 days before he came out. That was like his spot. And then I took it away from him and gave it to Stimpy until Stimpy was comfortable. So now I think they're kind of having a little bit of a turf war of that room. So now
Um,
Stimpy is deathly afraid to go in that room alone. He won't go. Like he'll come to us in the morning and wait for us to follow him in to that
oh
room.
no.
So, we woke up. Well, I woke up. I didn't sleep at all one night this week. And my husband got up early because he had to get out of the house early for something. And I'm like, oh, Stimpy, you're coming to snuggle with me. And he gets in bed. It's like 6 a.m. and he's choo, 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 scratching, 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 sits on me. You know what I'm about to say, right?
Tinkle, tinkle,
Peed,
tinkle.
peed on me while I was in bed. Never happened to me my entire life. And you can't really stop that mid whatever is happening. So I'm like taking the blankets and like trying. I'm like, what are you doing? No, why are you doing this to me? I was crying because I was so tired. And then I was like, maybe it was because I changed the litter. Maybe it was because, it's been a little crazy right now because work's been really busy and I've had a lot of doctor's appointments. So, but no, we figured out that every time he sees Stray go in that direction, he won't go.
Mm. Oh.
So thank God I got all the pee out, washed it like 400 times. I actually proactively ordered new blankets, new sheets, everything. And they
Mm.
came, but the smell and everything came out because I did it so quick. There's this stuff called pee something. Pee we talk about such interesting things. Let me tell you, it's
I
always
know,
poop or
right?
pee. Whatever PB gone or something. I don't know what it is, but it works. Um, so it all came out, which is great. But then just this morning, actually, he started scratching again in the bed. So Brian was like, nope, got up, started walking to the room. He ran to the litter box. So
Oh,
I
that's
decided
good.
to move the litter box to my bathroom that's attached to my bedroom so that he doesn't feel so afraid. So hopefully that works. But don't do what I do. Don't move
Well,
stuff. Don't let cats take over each other's space without having enough time to decompress and sniff each other's butts. That was the other thing. I've never seen so many cats, or probably because why would I have watched cats sniff butts before? But I always thought that was a dog thing. My cats walk around and sniff each other's butt all the time, and they're like, "Oh, I
oh
smell
my
you. I know
gosh.
you. I like you." Smell the other. Nope, I don't like you, and like just start smacking them.
Oh,
Have you
that's so
ever heard
funny.
of such a thing?
No, I haven't had cats that really smell each other's butts.
My
I
cats are just weird. I also got all my cats. I've talked about this before because Luffy used to say hello. Dr. Stray says hello, and now Stimpy's making like hello noises. So my cats all say hello because
hmm.
I think they mimic me because I go hello. So now
Oh,
that's what
that's
they
so
do.
sweet. Well, I'm going to bring this up again because you had such a great reaction last time a few months ago, but I do have
Mhm.
powder I'm supposed to smear on Max's butt.
Oh my gosh. Did you do it?
I did before I have to do it again. He um he can't clean himself. I mean, my daughter and I tried giving him a bath and really washing it off, and she got scratched badly by him. So I asked the doctor, the vet, about putting like these wipes, using these wipes. He said, "Well, use that powder." So I have to catch him and put the powder on him again. Uh, he doesn't like it, of course, but he feels
Right.
better afterwards. But he is letting me put the eardrops in, so maybe he's getting the
Maybe because
connection.
he knows he feels better after. He's probably at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when I
So
first took in Derek and Tony, because they were supposed to just be, well, Derek was supposed to be a catch and release, and Tony was a, since you already have Derek, can you hold Tony for a couple of days? And then I wound up keeping them both because I was a major foster fail, but they both had really bad mites in their ears because of the conditions they
mhm,
were saved from. So I had to actually wind up putting them back in cages just because I couldn't fight
mhm.
and wrestle with them to put eardrops in. And then
Yeah.
finally, when I got rid of the cages again, it took Tony over a year to not flinch when he saw me. I couldn't touch him, I
Mm.
couldn't pick him up, nothing. And now he'll like, if I go like this, he'll come to me and I could pet him and he makes his cute little noises, but it's
Aw,
traumatizing for them. But once they realize you're doing it to help them feel better, I think, I don't
then
know,
they're
it's like
better.
good cop, bad cop. I was always the bad cop with the medicine. Brian could
Yeah,
pick them up and hold them though.
my cats act like, they'll fight me tooth and nail, and then they act like nothing happened afterwards.
Oh, Lord.
But we need to talk about our upcoming events. So
Oh,
you
yeah,
have an
it's a lot
event.
going on.
So
Yes.
what's coming up for you?
So Tommy's Cats, we've been getting a really high volume of requests for help with spay and neuter, especially in some towns local to us that no longer have full TNR programs. And I have to be careful how I say that because that's not entirely true. I'm going to rephrase that. There are TNR programs, but it's very specific where like the property owner, like the homeowner has to be the one that does it and goes through the process and then they have to drive it in and it's like this whole thing.
It's
For you,
trap, neuter, release, right?
yes, yep. And
Yeah.
then, spaying and neutering any cats that are outside that obviously we check for microchip first to see if it belongs to somebody. But because we're actually lost a lot of resources, a lot of clinic spots where there's not the ability to just say like, hey, I found this cat, can you please come help? Like the shelters can't just come and get them anymore because they don't have
Yeah.
bandwidth, there's not contracts in place. So they're more heavily relying on the rescues, which is totally cool. It's rescues are there for, but we can't find funds. So, there's only so many grants you can apply for. Everything is
Mhm.
donation based. And then we also can't find a lot of clinic spots because there's so many clinics around in the area that can do spay and neuter for TNR, even for open stuff, because
And there's just so many cats.
yeah. So anyhow, so I've talked before about how we do fundraisers. But we're going to be launching it actually at the end of this month, recurring donations, where I'm working with a couple of businesses to see about them donating like little gift cards or something. So anybody who is a recurring donor, it could be just $1 a month, I don't care, gets put into a raffle each quarter or whatever it is to get like a prize back.
Well, I'm going to do that just because I believe in the mission.
Aw.
And I'm going to do it through my new company, which is Gear
Mm-hmm.
Media Studios, which is
Mm-hmm.
having our grand opening April 28th in Summit, New Jersey. It's a podcast studio.
Woohoo!
Yay! Podcast studio. You can do video podcasts there. You can do audio podcasts there if you want. We have a green room for hair and makeup. We have a little kitchen. We have a bathroom up there. And the grand opening on the 28th, we're going to let people do little podcasts for like 5 or 10 minutes if they want to try out the equipment and see what it feels like. So
That's really cool. And Gear Media is also one of the sponsors for the other event that we're working on for Tommy's Cats, which is a big, giant old basket raffle. So if you're local to New Jersey, it's going to be at the Town and Country Inn in Keyport. It's $25 in advance. And if you're watching this in the future or listening in the future, you can still send us money. We'd love that, but you just can't come to the event. But she's co-sponsoring the photo booth with Here LLC. She's actually a market manager and event planner, which is pretty cool. And the goal is to raise enough funds so that we don't have to keep begging people for money every day all year long. People have fun. There's a 50-50, which you can actually do remotely through Venmo. You don't have to be present to win. And the tickets are only $5 each for that. And then we're having baskets. Like I said, we have the photo booth, door prizes, and some really cool stuff so that
so
we could free
when
up time to actually do more rescue and not spend
yeah,
all our time fundraising.
when is that event?
It is Sunday, March 23rd. We're going to do doors opening at 4. So if people want to come early and get food or drinks, the venue does have a bar and a full menu. It's a diner/restaurant, so no outdoor food or drink. And then we'll probably start calling numbers around 5:30, but we have the space from 4 o'clock to 9 p.m. And then we also have 2 other sponsors. One is Rose Amara from Loan Depot, and also Jackie Berman from Legal Shield and ID Shield. So you've actually, I think Rose, I've talked about her before because she used to do fostering with me. But you've definitely met Jackie before because she's come in and talked
Right.
about the importance of having a will or something in place for your animals if something were to happen to you. So she'll be talking to people about that.
Right. So your event's in March, mine's in April. I wanted to say
Mhm.
one other thing about my event on April 28th. If you're local to the Summit area, the Summit mayor, Elizabeth Fagan, is going to come and we're going to do the whole ribbon cutting thing with the
Very
ginormous
cool.
scissors. I know it's going to be
That's like the
fun.
best part,
I know,
giant scissors.
right? I have to fight Richard over the scissors. I guess we'll do it together.
Yeah, you could do rock, paper, scissors.
There you
Got it.
go. Yeah, so and we're gonna have a cocktails starting at 5. We're gonna have people come during the day. We're doing a lunch and learn at noon on is podcasting right for you or beginning in podcasting, and then people doing little recordings through the day, and then cocktails at 5 and the mayor and the ribbon cutting. So April
Very cool.
28th in Summit, New Jersey. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm spearheading it. A friend of mine who's my coach, Sonia Satra, she was a soap opera star a few years ago, and now she's still an actress, and she's going to be coming. She's going to help interview people if they want to be interviewed, or help people with their like speaking skills, which you don't need,
Very
Danielle.
cool.
I know.
There's a lot of people who do need it, from time to time, depending on my audience, but I've just been doing it for so long, just for conferences and speaking and training.
Right. So
I
you know,
definitely have a different voice I use for different things.
right, but you know how important it is too to
Oh,
just
yeah.
at least train yourself or get somebody
Hmm.
to help you train a little bit so that you sound smoother, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Smooth operator.
yeah, so mine is free. So if you're going to spend any money, please spend it on the cats, on the rescue.
Yeah. Oh, we were going to have a wet food drive too, if you bring that, or order from our Amazon or Chewy wish list. So we can put that all up as well.
Oh, we're having a food drive too. So people food, but if you
People
want to bring
food.
pet food, you can bring pet food. I'll give it to Danielle.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so that's what's going on with us right now. Super
So,
busy.
like, nothing's going on.
No, nothing. But yeah, I think Lindsay, my daughter, left. She's living in Portland, Oregon now.
Hmm.
And the cats really miss her. Like
Do you do video chat? Like, do they recognize her in video chat at all? Because I know
we have
some cats can't really. Some people have said their animals don't notice anything on computers or phones, but then I've had people say like they recognize. I'm sure they at least recognize her voice.
yeah, we haven't really done video chat, but
Well, now you
Lil
have to and report on it for
yeah,
the next episode.
I will. Lily's like, I thought you were gonna brush me for the rest of my life. Richard is brushing her some.
Uh,
So yeah, yeah.
all right. Well, awesome updates. Thank you guys so much for listening. If there's any topics you want to talk about, or if you're having a challenge or something funky going on, doesn't have to be talking about butts or bad breath or whatever, just any issues your cats are having, feel free to share that with us and we'll listen to you or you'll listen to us next time.
Right. And if you want the name of my vet, let us know because he's a dermatologist, allergist, and he's the only one that I've found in this area. And he's in Pennsylvania too, who
That's good
does,
to know.
yeah, does what he does. He probably knows people across the country, but honestly, I haven't found any other vet that can help Max besides him.
That's great.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
Thanks so much for listening. Let's keep the conversation going. Give this podcast a rating so other cat lovers can find it. Connect with the Jersey PodCats on social media or visit thejerseypodcats.com and leave a message sharing a story or question about cats. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next episode.